bit nervous. Okay. Welcome to Coffee and Tequila, a weekday morning show, weekday pop culture morning show. Today is, what is today? Thursday, the 24th.
Thursday the 24th.
Thursday the 24th. We are recording on the 23rd, the evening of the 23rd. Today, Britney Spears gave her testimony in court against her conservatorship. So there was a lot there. There's a lot to unpack. So we are going to be just covering that topic for the day.
Yep. We're reserving all others topics to tomorrow, including, don't worry about it, we're not forgetting Loki, including Loki and any other announcements.
Mm-hmm. So that's what we're going to cover today. There's a lot here, and it's a very, very serious topic, and there were a lot of serious things brought up in court. And so I want to do this in the most respectful way that I can towards Britney herself. We're not going to monetize this one. I mean, I would get like a couple cents anyway, maybe like $1 off of these videos on this channel, and so I wouldn't get anything anyway. But we're not going to monetize it. When she ever is released from her conservatorship, I will take this one down too. I feel right now that as a lifelong Britney fan, the thing I could do here to kind of show my support for her is kind of put her voice out there, because she has made it clear that she does want her voice to be heard. And this is the only way that her voice has been heard in a long time. And what we'll hear in this is that she, is happy that this is out there and being recorded, and that people are hearing this and hearing her side of everything and what the truth is here. This is the truth of Britney Spears. And so I don't feel guilty that we're going to be playing some of this audio here. I don't want to go into really like celebrities and stuff like that. Like, Justin Timberlake tweeted about it. Don't really want to go into that. I really just want to focus on Britney's voice, the things that Britney is saying. And so what we're going to do is I have her testimony, the whole audio from her testimony, on my laptop here, and we're going to listen to it. I don't know who the original person that recorded this. I kind of just found this audio, so I'm sorry that I can't really credit if this happens to get back to the person that recorded this, then all credit goes to you. I will totally credit you. What we're going to do is play the audio. I kind of I've sped it up a little bit, and I don't remember. No, I didn't bring the tone down at all. But I did speed it up a little bit, because I'm worried that this episode is going to be taken down because this audio is going to be on here, and so really don't want that to happen. So what we're going to do as we play the audio is we're going to be stopping it at certain points and kind of giving commentary on it, and hopefully that'll kind of keep YouTube off of our asses a little bit. And so I know that when I listen to videos like this, and like they play clips and people interrupt it and pause it and talk through it, it annoys the hell out of me. So I apologize, but I really am just trying to cover our asses here. And because I think that her voice should be heard. And because I was originally just going to read the transcript.
Yeah, you were.
Okay. And so we have the audio. So I think I'm going to do the audio. And we're just going to talk about some of the things she's saying, and then at the end we're going to kind of give our thoughts on everything. I will also put a timestamp down below if you don't want to sit through the entire audio and our commentary on it. I want to kind of refrain from speculating, kind of just want to focus on what she is saying and sort of the context around it. I feel like I'm talking a lot and you're not really saying much.
Well, because I'm kind of like... I'm letting you take your lead. How it's gonna go, because I don't know how you want to do this or not, because you're putting out a lot of parameters, and I'm just letting myself fit into those parameters that you're saying.
I'm just really nervous.
Why?
I don't know. I just feel really nervous about this.
This is I
have a lot of nerves and anxiety right now.
It is a serious topic, but at the same time, a lot of things are serious topics, and a lot of things are serious topics that we are going to be talking about on Coffee and Tequila. And I like that we can talk about serious topics, but also be real and just have a good time conversating. So this is a conversation.
It is,
And,
yeah.
it's a conversation, yes, about something very serious, but it's also something that's really capturing, at least for today, for the 23rd, people's minds and people's hearts. You know, people
Yeah.
have known something was going on for a while, and then it gained traction, and then you had a bunch of podcasts covering this, and then you had a couple of documentaries.
Well, it's a whole movement. It's a whole
coming out,
social media movement.
and it turned from a conspiracy theory to something that's very legitimate.
Yeah.
Especially with this statement, and with that, I mean, that's what I have.
Okay. I have been a Britney Spears fan ever since I was a little kid, and Baby One More Time came out, and I remember watching it on the box TV, sitting on the floor, just being like mesmerized by this girl. And you know, little young gay kid found like a whole lot of little young gay kids found just like a hero, or not a hero, but I don't even know, like somebody to look up to in Britney Spears, and they found somebody that they were like just enamored by, and I was just enamored by her, and I loved her so much, and I love her so much. And hearing this testimony earlier today, I was just heartbroken, because it's stuff that has already been speculated on and rumored, but like has never come from her mouth directly,
That
at
we
least
know
not to
of.
this length. Yeah. And it just makes me so very, very, very sad for her, and very angry that this is allowed to happen, that some of this stuff is allowed to happen. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and play it, and then we'll sort of talk about it towards the end. Okay, ready? Okay.
So I'm happy to hear from you, Ms. Spears. So you may feel free to address me at this point.
Okay, well, I just got a new phone, so bear with me. Okay, so I have this written down. I have a lot to say, so bear with me. Basically, a lot has happened since 2 years ago. The last time I wrote all this down. The last time I was in court. I will be honest with you. I haven't been back to court in a long time, because I don't think I was heard on any level when I came to court the last time. I brought 4 sheets of paper in my hands and wrote in length what I had been through the last 4 months before I came there. The people who did that to me should not be able to walk away so easily. I'll recap. I was on tour in 2018. I was forced to do. My management said if I don't do this tour, I will have to hire an attorney.
Ms. Spears, I hate to interrupt you, but my court reporter is taking down what you're saying.
Okay.
And so you have to speak a little more slowly.
Oh, of course, yes. Okay, I apologize. Great.
Yeah, so they're just going to ask her to speak a little more slowly here. She immediately goes back into speaking a little bit faster. So what she's doing, yeah.
Yeah, I understand where she's
Yeah.
getting at, because like sometimes obviously she has what she wants to say written down.
And she's got a bunch of nerves.
Yeah,
She's got a bunch of nerves.
and you tend to speed up, especially like if you ever give speeches or anything like that. If you have stuff written down and you're nervous, you tend to speed it up
Well, so
quite a bit.
yeah, and what I want to say here is throughout this whole thing, you're going to hear her kind of stumbling over herself, missing words, kind of like putting words together, like not really pronouncing words all that, grammatically correct and stuff like that. And this is something that I know I do. And so I know that some people sometimes put that down to like a lack of intelligence. But like,
I do that a lot too.
Yeah.
Where people like called me out for like stuttering or like a speech issues.
So I do want to point this out, because I don't think that lends itself to any sort of mental illness or anything like that. I think that's just how she speaks, and she's very nervous right now. I think she actually sounds incredibly coherent here. Aside from like the way they try to portray her on like Instagram and stuff like that. Like she sounds very like present, and she has an understanding of everything that's going on.
I think that's the most shocking thing. Well, not shocking, but surprising.
It almost took me aback, because like
I didn't know it was her for a second.
this is like, it doesn't even sound like her.
Well,
Like,
it
sounds
does
like
sound
her.
like
It sounds like her, but it doesn't sound like the her that we've been hearing over the past year.
It sounds like her in 2003 or something like that.
Or even like 2000. I don't know, more recent than that. But So she is reading off of her phone, and so as she's reading, she's gonna kind of go faster sometimes, and she's gonna stumble over herself and like kind of lose her place. And just keep that in mind, I guess. Okay, we're playing.
Okay. The people who did this to me should not get away and to be able to walk away so easily. Recap. I was on tour in 2018. I was forced to do. My management said if I don't do this tour, I will have to find an attorney, and by contract, my own management could sue me if I didn't follow through with the tour. He handed me a sheet of paper as I got off the stage in Vegas and said I had to sign it. It was very threatening and scary, and with the conservatorship, I couldn't even get my own attorney, so out of fear, I went ahead and I did the tour. When I came off that tour, a new show in Las Vegas was supposed to take place. I started rehearsing early, but it was hard because I'd been doing Vegas for 4 years and I needed a break in between. But no, I was told this is the timeline and this is how it's going to go. I rehearsed 4 to 4 days a week, half of the time in the studio and half of the other time in a Westlake studio.
And so this is more a comment on context for those of y'all who haven't really been following this. I would suggest, I don't know, look up a couple things about the Free Britney movement and all this conservatorship stuff that's coming on. Because I know that sometimes when we cover a lot of this stuff on here, a lot of people in the comments don't know what the hell we're talking about. So a little bit of context here. Britney Spears did a Vegas show from like 2013 to 2017. Right after she finished the Vegas show, she went into touring the Vegas show, basically the Piece of Me tour throughout 2018. And she is saying that she didn't really want to go on tour, that she felt kind of forced into doing it, and she did the tour. And then when she came off of the tour, they had like a new Vegas show lined up for her, so she didn't really get to take a break. She wanted to take a break. She didn't really get to do that, and the new Vegas show was actually called Domination. And at one point, Domination was built up, and everybody was super excited about it and stuff like that. And then out of nowhere, it's just Britney is in a wellness facility, and she's really stressed out about her dad's health. Her dad's health has really scared her, and there's this whole Instagram post about it, and she really loves her dad, and so she's going to go into a wellness facility, and the Domination Vegas residency is going to be postponed indefinitely. And so we know now that all of that was a lie. That was just spun by her team. She was she's about to.
She's just going to say it.
Okay, she'll explain. Yeah. Okay.
I was basically directing most of the show with my whereabouts, where I preferred to rehearse, and actually did most of the choreography, meaning I taught my dancers my new choreography myself. I take everything I do very seriously. There's tons of video with me at rehearsals. I wasn't good. I was great. I led a room of 16 new dancers in rehearsals. It's funny to hear my manager's side of the story. They all said I wasn't participating in rehearsals, and I never agreed to take my medication, which my medication is only taken in the mornings, never at rehearsal. They don't even see me. So why are they even claiming that? When I said no to one dance move into rehearsals, it was as if I planted a huge bomb somewhere. And I said, no, I don't want to do it this way. After that, my management, my dancers, and my assistant of the new people that were supposed to do the new show all went into a room, shut the door, and didn't come out for at least 45 minutes. Ma'am, I'm not here to be anyone's slave. I can say no to a dance move. I was told by my, at the time, therapist, Dr. Benson, who died, that my manager called him in that moment and told him I wasn't cooperating or following the guidelines in rehearsals. And he also said I wasn't taking my medication, which is so dumb because I've had the same lady every morning for the past 8 years give me my same medication, and I'm nowhere near these stupid people. It made no sense at all. There was a week period where they were nice to me, and they said, I don't want to do, and I told them I don't want to do the, they were nice to me. They said, if I don't want to do the new Vegas show, I don't have to, because I was getting really nervous. I said, I can wait. It was like, they told me I could wait. It was like lifting literally 200 pounds off of me when they said I don't have to do the show anymore, because I was really, really hard on myself, and it was too much. I couldn't take it anymore. So I remember telling my assistant, but you know what? I feel weird if I say no. I feel like they're going to come back and be mean to me or punish me or something. 3 days later, after I said no to Vegas, my therapist sat me down in a room and said he had a million phone calls about how I was not cooperating in rehearsals and I haven't been taking my medication. All of this was a false. He immediately the next day put me on lithium out of nowhere. He took me off my normal meds I'd been on for 5 years. And lithium is a very, very strong and completely different medication compared to what I was used to. You can go mentally impaired if you take too much, if you stay on it longer than 5 months. But he put me on that and I felt drunk. I really couldn't even take up for myself. I couldn't even have a conversation with my mom or dad really about anything. I told them I was scared, and my doctor had me on 6 different nurses with this new medication come to my home, stay with me, to monitor me on this new medication, which I never wanted to be on to begin with. There were 6 different nurses in my homes, and they wouldn't let me get in my car to go anywhere for a month. Not only did my family not do a goddamn thing, my dad was all for it. Anything that happened to me had to be approved by my dad. And my dad he acted like he didn't know that I was told I had to be tested over the Christmas holidays before they sent me away when my kids went home to Louisiana. He was the one who approved all of it. My whole family did nothing. Over the 2-week holiday, a lady came into my home for 4 hours a day, sat me down and did a psych test on me. It took forever. But I was told I had to then, after that I got off, I was told I had to then, after I got a phone call from my dad saying, after I did the psych test with this lady, basically saying I had failed the test or whatever. I'm sorry, Britney, you have to listen to your doctors. They are planning to send you to a small home in Beverly Hills to do a small rehab program that we're going to make up for you. You're going to pay $60,000 a month for this. I cried on the phone for an hour and he loved every minute of it. The control he had over someone as powerful as me, as he loved the control to hurt his own daughter 100,000%, he loved it. I packed my bags and went to that place. I worked 7 days a week, no days off, which in California, the only similar thing to this is called sex trafficking, making anyone work against their will, taking all their possessions away, credit card, cash, phone, passport card, and placing them in a home where they work with the people who live with them. They all lived in the house with me, the nurses, the 24/7 security. There was one chef that came there and cooked for me daily during the weekdays. They watched me change every day naked, morning, noon, and night. My body, I had no privacy door for my room. I gave 8 gallons of blood a week. If I didn't do any of my meetings and work from 8 to 6 at night, which is 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, no days off, I wouldn't be able to see my kids or my boyfriend. I never had a say in my schedule. They always told me I had to do this. And ma'am, I will tell you, sitting in a chair 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, it ain't fun. And especially when you can't walk out the front door. And that's why I'm telling you this again 2 years later.
So she disappeared for like months when we thought she was in this wellness center, by the way.
Right.
And
people were freaking out.
It wasn't even,
on
actually,
social
she didn't
media.
disappear for that long. She was like, or she disappeared for a while, but when we were told that she went to a wellness facility, apparently she'd already been there for months at that time. She had already been stuck in this facility against her will for months at that time. And then there's photos of her, like, having outings with, with Sam Asghari and stuff like that. And I don't know if she was on lithium at this point or not, but it would explain a lot of like the way she looked, just dazed kind of. And it just like breaks my heart that she was potentially like sitting on lithium at the time. And she said that it made her feel drunk and it made her feel like
She was doped up.
I've taken, like, I don't like a lot of prescription medication. Even Benadryl makes me feel super loopy, and I've tried I don't know, some pain medication one time, and I can't even imagine feeling drunk all the time like that. So it's
Well, it's a call to reality. Like
Yeah.
she's really just clarifying everything that happened to her and like how she was being treated. Like she had no privacy. People were watching her 24 hours a day. She couldn't do anything, and just because she didn't want to perform for these people.
just because she didn't want to do this show anymore. And you know what's insane is that she can remember all of this. She can recount all of this and recall all of this. Isn't she supposed to have dementia? Right?
Yeah,
But she remembers all this. I mean,
That's what it
let
said.
alone she's able to, like, have 13 years worth of a career, albums, touring, talk shows, all of this stuff, X Factor. And now she's recounting all of this. I do not have time for you. Okay. So it's just insane.
After I've lied and told the whole world I'm okay and I'm happy, it's a lie. I thought I said that enough. Maybe I might become happy because I've been in denial. I've been in shock. I am traumatized. Fake it till you make it. But now I'm telling you the truth, okay? I'm not happy. I can't sleep. I'm so angry, it's insane, and I'm depressed. I cry every day, and the reason I'm telling you this is because I don't think how the state of California can have all this written in the court documents from the time I showed up and do absolutely nothing, just hire with my money another person to keep my dad on board. Ma'am, my dad and anyone involved in this conservatorship and my management who played a huge role in punishing me when I said, no, ma'am, they should be in jail. Their cool tactics working for Miley Cyrus as she smokes on joints and stage at the VMAs. Nothing is ever done to this generation for doing wrong things. But my precious body, who's worked for my dad for the past fucking 13 years, trying to be so good and pretty, so perfect when he works me so hard, when I do everything I'm told in the state of California, allowed my ignorant father to take his own daughter, who only has a role with me if I work with him. They set back the whole course and allowed him to do that to me. That's given these people I've worked for way too much control. They also threatened me and said if I don't go, then I have to go to court. And it will be more embarrassing me.
This sickened me. There's two pieces of here. Like the whole thing is fucked, and the whole thing sickens me. There are two pieces that just disturbed me to my core. It's a part that's coming up, and then this part right here where she says she just had to be perfect and pretty, and her precious little body was used for her daddy, and like that he only wanted to control her, and he never wanted a relationship outside of him just working with her.
And she had to be perfect even with all these restrictions.
Fucking insane.
Whereas
yeah.
Well, and it's funny because they had the same management team. Miley Cyrus and Britney Spears have the same management team.
I'd need to fact check that. I don't know if that's still a thing.
Well, I think it was like at a time.
Yeah.
The thing.
So and it's true. Miley Cyrus can go out and do a bunch of stuff. Miley Cyrus can smoke joints on stage and do all this stuff. And Britney had a rough 2007. Like nobody can deny that she had a rough 2007. But does that mean all of her whole being needs to be taken and stripped from her, all of her personal rights? How crazy is that? And you know what the difference is? It's because the Cyrus family are not out to get a bunch of money from Miley Cyrus. They're not trying to take everything Miley Cyrus got, whereas Britney has been working for her family this whole fucking time.
And it's not just that. It's also because you have a bunch of what do they call them? Momzillas or momagers and
stage moms, right?
Stage moms and stage dads in Hollywood, but her dad had never been a stage dad.
Didn't want I mean, even in the Framing Britney documentary, they say that the only time one of the managers that ever spoken to him was when he said that his daughter was going to get so rich that she was going to buy him a boat. But he wasn't ever really around. He was only around for the benefits and the perks. He wasn't actually there. I do think so. Lynn Spears, Britney's mother, has a book called Through the Storm, and it's all about where Lynn kind of details her marriage to Jamie and Britney's childhood and some of this turbulence that Britney had been going through. I highly recommend some people checking that out if you're interested in further reading with it. I see it because it does illuminate a lot. It says a lot about kind of how Jamie was. Jamie was an alcoholic. Jamie was, and you know what? Never to use anybody's addiction against them and weaponize it against them and stuff like that. But he did inflict a lot of trauma on his family. And when a parent does that, there is trauma there, and if that trauma is not unpacked and addressed, it can manifest itself in other ways. And in the book, she says that she took they went to a pastor, and the pastor told them, hey, Britney's gonna have a lot of trouble with men in the future because of the experiences she's having with her dad right now. And that fucking came true. There's a podcast called Eat, Pray, Britney that I highly recommend everybody go and check it out. And they kind of cover a little bit of everything. They cover Lynn Spears' book. They cover Lynn and Jamie's marriage. Just a bunch of different stuff. So go check them out as well.
Lou Taylor.
Yes.
Which was she was kind of a catalyst for this happening.
She is. She's in the book
in a way that I think Jamie Spears probably wouldn't have done alone.
Jamie wasn't smart enough to come up with that alone. Lou Taylor was already trying to do that with Lindsay Lohan and stuff like that, and she got her I don't even know how she got her claws into the Spears family and convinced them to do this.
If the judge publicly makes you go, the evidence we have, you have to go. I was advised for my image, I need to go ahead and just go and get it over with. They said that to me. I don't even drink alcohol. I should drink alcohol considering what they put my heart through. Also, the Bridges facility they sent me to, none of the kids, I was doing this program for 4 months. So the last 2 months I went to a Bridges facility. None of the kids there did the program. They never showed up for any of them. You didn't have to do anything if you didn't want to. How come they always made me go? How come I was always threatened by my dad and anybody that participated in this conservatorship? If I don't do this, what they tell me to enslave me to do, they're going to punish me. The last time I spoke to you by just keeping the conservatorship going and also keeping my dad in the loop made me feel like I was dead. Like I didn't matter. Like nothing had been done to me. Like you thought I was lying or something. I'm telling you again because I'm not lying. I want to feel heard. And I'm telling you this again so maybe you can understand the depth and the degree and the damage that they did to me back then. I want changes, and I want changes going forward. I deserve changes. I was told I have to sit down and be evaluated again. If I want to end the conservatorship, ma'am, I didn't know I could petition the conservatorship to end it. I'm sorry for my ignorance, but I honestly didn't know that. But honestly, but I don't think I owe anyone to be evaluated. I've done more than enough. I don't feel like I should even be in a room with anyone to offend me by trying to question my capacity of intelligence, whether I need to be in this stupid conservatorship or not. I've done more than enough. I don't owe these people anything, especially me, the one that has roofed and fed tons of people on tour on the road. It's embarrassing and demoralizing what I've been through, and that's the main reason. I've never said it openly, and mainly I didn't want to say it openly because I honestly didn't think anyone would believe me. To be honest with you, the Paris Hilton story on what they did to her to that school, I didn't believe any of it. I'm sorry, I'm an outsider, and I'll just be honest. I didn't believe it, and maybe I'm wrong, and that's why I didn't want to say any of this to anybody, to the public, because I thought people would make fun of me or laugh at me and say, she's lying, she's got everything, she's Britney Spears. I'm not lying. I just want my life back, and it's been 13 years, and it's enough. It's been a long time since I've owned my money, and it's my wish and my dream for all of this to end without being tested. Again, it makes no sense whatsoever for the state of California to sit back and literally watch me with their own two eyes make a living for so many people and pay so many people trucks and buses on tour on the road with me and be told I'm not good enough. But I'm great at what I do, and I allow these people to control what I do, ma'am, and it's enough. It makes no sense at all. Now, going forward, I'm not willing to meet or see anyone I've met with enough people against my will. I'm done. All I want is to own my money for this to end and my boyfriend to drive me in his fucking car. And I would honestly like to sue my family, to be totally honest with you. I also would like to be able to share my story with the world and what they did to me instead of it being a hush-hush secret to benefit all of them. I want to be able to be heard on what they did to me by making me keep this in for so long is not good for my heart. I've been so angry and I cry every day. It concerns me. I'm told I'm not allowed to expose the people who did this to me. For my sanity, I need you to the judge to approve me, do an interview where I can be heard on what they did to me. And actually, I have the right to use my voice and take up for myself. My attorney says I can't, it's not good. I can't let the public know anything they did to me. And by not saying anything is saying it's okay. I don't know what I said here. It's not okay. I don't want to interview. I'd much rather just have an open call to you for the press to hear, which I didn't know today we're doing. So thank you. Instead of having an interview, honestly, I need that to get it off my heart, the anger and all of it that's been happening. It's not fair they're telling me lies about me openly. Even my family, they do interviews.
Okay. In 2021, we got cell phones, we got voice recorders, we got all of this stuff, all of this access to the internet, all this access to other people. I could go on Instagram right now and post a picture of my foot done falled off, and it reached like 70,000 people, I could do that. And like, we have this capability to go and do that. And it's fucking insane that one of the biggest celebrities in the world, one of the biggest pop stars in the world, the Princess of Pop, cannot even like get her voice out there and has never been able to get her voice out there in an authentic way and like a real message to people and let people know what's going on. That this is the only way she has been able to do this, is having people leak an audio recording from a stream at a court hearing.
That she wanted to be leaked.
Yeah, of course, that she wanted to be leaked. But the only time she's ever been allowed to speak is at this court hearing, right? Is like...
The thing I find really interesting about what she's saying is she doesn't want to be evaluated again. She doesn't want to be poked and prodded again. And and I get it. Right now, she admitted to being depressed. She admitted to being super angry. And in those kinds of scenarios, you don't want to be psychologically evaluated, especially after you've been through this, you've done this.
They do it.
She's basically saying that she's proven by living her everyday life, by being able to provide for her family, for other people's families, for her whole contingency of lawyers,
everybody
for
on
the
her damn
publicist
payroll.
that her father, employs for like $1 million. Like, she's able to pay for all of them, yet she's not able to have autonomy over her own body or what she does.
And her money and anything. Like, she's perfectly well enough to go on a tour or host like a 4-year Vegas residency, followed by another tour and another Vegas residency. They were going to have her going from 2013 to at most like 2019, 2020, or no, like 2021. They were going to have her going from 2013 to 2021 nonstop, but she's not allowed to even make a statement. Maybe control her own Instagram So
it's crazy because doesn't she have dementia? Isn't that
She had dementia, apparently. Apparently
isn't that
she's
the whole
supposed to have
thing?
dementia. She don't sound like she had dementia to me.
No.
I don't know what dementia's supposed to sound like, but the fact that she can recollect everything and that she has, the fact that she can work this long.
It's honestly absurd. Like they definitely like knew how to take advantage of conservatorships, which and like the whole point of conservatorship is like it's not supposed to be evil.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be able to take people who cannot mentally or physically really take care of themselves, and that's obviously not Britney Spears. So when she asks not to be evaluated, I think that's actually pretty fair, because I think that the evidence is right there in front of everybody that she can do that.
Yeah, of course. And like, let's also like keep in mind that she, after the whole 2007, after being put under conservatorship and everything, she was immediately put back to work. So if she was in such a dire situation, why was she even put back to work so quickly? Because as soon as that conservatorship was put in place, the Circus album was dropped into her lap to record. She recorded the Circus album, went on the Circus tour. Like, she was right back to work immediately. She didn't even have time to like unpack 2007. Not even just 2007. Her career, since she was like 17 years old, since Baby One More Time, like she'd been bashed and like beaten down by the press and people making fun of her and stuff like that, and she didn't have time to even process any of this. 2007 must have been so hard for her, and she must have had like so much trauma inflicted during that year, and she didn't even have a moment to sit and evaluate all of that for herself. She didn't need to be evaluated. She needed help. But like all of a sudden, in order to get out of this conservatorship, or because they want to put her in like these mental health facilities and stuff like that, they're evaluating her now, right? They're evaluating her now, but at the time they're like, "Oh, we're gonna put you back to work. You don't need to be evaluated. We're gonna put you back to work."
And they're treating her like a cash cow.
She is the cash cow.
Honestly, in holding the people she loves over her in order to make her do this. And like she said, she's not good at what she does. She's great.
She is.
And she obviously makes these people so much money. She's like, she's basically feeding her family and everybody else's families.
Yeah.
And they've created a business out of her, off of her back. And it's so sad to see this.
And the amount of people that it literally benefits to have her under these restraints. That's not what a conservatorship is. It's not supposed to be beneficial to all of the people involved in the conservatorship. It is supposed to be beneficial to the conservatee.
What was it? Correct me if I'm wrong. Like the other lawyer, like the conservatorship lawyers make what, $30K an hour?
I don't want to give a number because I don't remember, but like I don't have it written down right here. But it's
a ridiculous
insane
sum.
amount. So she is fighting herself in court and arguing with herself and filing appeals against herself.
She's paying for all of it.
She's like, it's maddening. She's fighting herself. It's just, I don't know.
And she can't choose a lawyer either.
My mom did tell me.
She brought that up too.
Yeah, I talked to my mom earlier today about all this, and when I told her I was doing this, she was kind of talking me through some of this, and she told me, Zach, don't be crazy though. Don't get manic. Don't get manic. Don't go on a tirade or anything. I think I'm kind of doing that now. So we're gonna hit play again and kind of let me settle down a little bit.
To anyone they want on news stations, my own family doing interviews and talking about the situation and making me feel so stupid, and I can't say one thing. And my own people say I can't say anything. It's been 2 years. I want a recorded call to you. Actually, we're doing this now, which I didn't know that we were doing this. To the public who knows what they did to me. I told I know my lawyer Sam has been very scared for me to go forward because he's saying if I speak up, I'm being overworked in that facility, that rehab place. The rehab place will sue me. He told me I should keep it to myself. Really, I would personally like to. Actually, I know I've had grown with a personal relationship with Sam, my lawyer. I've been talking to him like 3 times a week now. We've kind of built a relationship, but I haven't really had the opportunity by my own self to actually handpick my own lawyer by myself. And I would like to be able to do that. I would like to also, the main reason why I'm here is because I want to end the conservatorship without having to be evaluated. I've done a lot of research, ma'am, and there's a lot of judges who do end conservatorships for people without them having to be evaluated all the time. The only times they don't is if a concerned family member says something's wrong with this person and otherwise. And considering my family has lived off my conservatorship for 13 years, I won't be surprised if one of them has something to say and go forward and say, we don't think this should end. We have to help her, especially if I get my fair served in turning exposing what they did to me. Also, I want to speak to you about, at the moment, my obligations which I personally don't think at the very moment I owe anybody anything. I have 3 meetings a week I have to attend no matter what. I just don't like feeling like I work for the people whom I pay. I don't like being told I have to, no matter what, even if I'm sick. Jody, the conservator, says I have to see my coach Ken even when I'm sick. I would like to do 1 meeting a week with a therapist. I've never, even before they sent me to that place, had 2 therapy sessions. A therapy session and 1 therapy session with I have a doctor and then a therapy person. What I've been forced to do illegal in my life, I shouldn't be told I have to be available 3 times a week to these people I don't know. I'm talking to you today because I feel, again, yes, even Jody is starting to kind of take it too far with me. They have me going to therapy twice a week and a psychiatrist. I've never in the past they had me going, twice a week and Dr. Gold, so that's 3 times a week. I've never in the past had to see a therapist more than once a week. It takes too much out of me going to this man I don't know. Number 1, I'm scared of people. I don't trust people with what I've been through. And the clever setup of being in Westlake, one of the most exposed places in Westlake, which yesterday, paparazzi showed me coming out of the place literally crying in therapy. It's embarrassing and it's demoralizing. I deserve privacy when I go. I deserve privacy when I go and have therapy, either at my home, like I've done for 8 years. They've always come to my home. Or when the Dr. Benson, the man that died, I went to a place similar to what I went to in Westlake, which was very exposed and really bad. Okay, so wait, where was I? In Westlake, it was identical to Dr. Blaze, but who died, the one who illegally, 100% abused me by the treatment he gave me too. And to be totally honest with you, I was so...
Excuse me for interrupting you, but my reporter says if you could just slow down a little bit because she's trying to make sure she gets everything that you're saying.
Okay, cool.
And so that would be great.
I have been through, and the clever stuff in Westlake is identical to Dr. Benson, who died, the one who illegally, 100% abused me by the treatment he gave me. And to be totally honest with you, when he passed away, I got on my knees and thanked God. In other words, my team is pushing it with me again. I have trapped phobias being in small rooms because the trauma locking me up for 4 months in that place is not okay for them to send me, sorry, I'm going fast, to that small room like that twice a week with another new therapist I pay that I never even approved. I don't like it. I don't want to do that. And I haven't done anything wrong to deserve this treatment. It's not okay to force me to do anything I don't want to do. By law, Jody and this so-called team I should be able to sue them for threatening me and saying, if I don't go and do these meetings twice a week, we can't let you have your money and go to Maui on your vacations. You have to do what you're told for this program, and then you will be able to go. But it was very clever. They picked one of the most exposed places in Westlake, knowing I have the hot topic of the conservatorship, that over 5 paparazzis are going to show up and get me crying coming out of that place. I begged them to make sure that they did this at my home so I would have privacy. I deserve privacy. The whole conservatorship from the beginning, once
who the fuck wants to go to therapy against your wishes anyway? She didn't pick to go to a therapist, and then she's coming out of a therapist to
paparazzi
office to paparazzi after whatever you've just discussed. It's supposed to be a private matter, and then it's like,
and it's crazy because like she has been a huge victim of the media and of paparazzi for so long. And even at this point, it's 2021. She's going through her conservatorship. She's going through all this, and it just seems like in very poor taste to me.
It's ridiculous.
The conservatorship from the beginning, once you see someone, whoever it is in the conservatorship, making them money and myself money and working, that whole statement right there, the conservatorship should end. There should be I should be in a conservatorship if I can work and provide money and work for myself and pay other people. It makes no sense. The laws need to change. What state allows people to own another person's money and account and threaten them and saying, you can't spend your money unless you do what we want you to do, and I'm paying them? Ma'am, I've worked since I was 17 years old. You have to understand how thin that is for me. Every morning I get up to know I can't go on somewhere unless I meet people I don't know every week in an office identical to the one where the therapist was very abusive to me. I truly believe this conservatorship is abusive. And now we can sit here all day and say, oh, conservatorships are here to help people. But ma'am, there's 1,000 conservatorships that are abusive as well. I don't feel like I can live a full life. I don't owe them to go see a man I don't know and share him my problems. I don't even believe in therapy. I always think you take it to God. I want to end the conservatorship without being evaluated. In the meantime, I want this therapist once a week. He can either come to my home. No, I just want him to come to my home. I'm not willing to go to Westlake and be embarrassed by all these paparazzi, these scummy paparazzi laughing at my faces while I'm crying, coming out and taking my pictures as all these white, nice dinners where people drinking wine at restaurants, watching me leave these places. They set me up by sending me to the most exposed places, and I told them I didn't want to go there because I knew paparazzi would show up there. they only gave me 2 options for therapists, and I'm not sure how you make your decisions, ma'am, but this is the only chance for me to talk to you for a while. I need your help. So if you can just kind of let me know where your head is. I don't really honestly know what to say, but my requests are just to end the conservatorship without being evaluated. I want a petition basically to end the conservatorship, but I want it to be petition to end it, but I don't want to be evaluated and be sat in a room with people 4 hours a day like they did me before, and they made it even worse for me after that happened. So I'm honestly new at this, and I'm doing research on all these things. I do know common sense and the method that things can end. It for people, it has ended without them being evaluated. So I just want you to take that in consideration. I've also done research. Also took a year during COVID to get me any self-care methods during COVID. She said there were no services available. She's lying, ma'am. My mom went to the spa twice in Louisiana during COVID. For a year, I didn't have my nails done, no hairstyling and no massages, no acupuncture, nothing for a year. I saw the maids in my home each week with their nails done different each time. She made me feel like my dad does. Very similar, her behavior and my dad, but just a different dynamic. Team wants me to work and stay home instead of having longer vacations. They are used to me sort of doing a weekly routine for them, and I'm over it.
So remember, all of this past year, everybody giving her shit over her hair being ratty and her makeup being smudged and her nails not being done and she's not glammed up and stuff like that. Remember this. She wasn't even allowed to go. I get that it was COVID and stuff like that, stay home and stuff like that. But like she says, she's a fucking millionaire. She's a millionaire.
She should be able to have a glam squad if she wants.
She should. And she has maids coming to her house and they have nails done and stuff like that. And she must have been, she's probably embarrassed, you know? It's just.
I don't feel like I owe them anything at this point. They need to be reminded they actually work for me. They tricked me by sending me to the, okay, I repeated myself there. Also, I was supposed to be able to, I have a friend that I used to do AA meetings with. I did AA for 2 years. I have I did 3 meetings a week. I met a bunch of women there, and I'm not able to see my friends that live 8 minutes away from me, which I find extremely strange. I feel like they're making me feel like I live in a rehab program. This is my home. I'd like for my boyfriend to be able to drive me in his car. And I want to meet with a therapist once a week, not twice a week. And I want him to come to my home because I actually know I do need a little therapy. I was told.
We all need a little therapy.
Hold on. I think and I would like to progressively move forward, and I want to have the real deal. I want to be able to get married and have a baby. I was told right now in the conservatorship, I'm not able to get married or have a baby. I have a ID inside of myself right now, so I don't get pregnant. I wanted to take the ID out so I could start trying to have another baby, but this so-called team won't let me go to the doctor to take it out because they don't want me to have any more children. So basically, this conservatorship is doing me way more harm than good. I deserve to have a life. I've worked my whole life. I deserve to have a 2 to 3 year break and just, do what I want to do. But I do feel like there is a crutch here, and I feel like I feel open and I'm okay to talk to you today about it. But I wish I could stay with you on the phone forever, because when I get off the phone with you, all of a sudden, I hear all these no's, no, and then all of a sudden I feel ganged up on, and I feel bullied, and I feel left out and alone, and I'm tired of feeling alone. I deserve to have the same rights as anybody does by having a child, a family, any of those things, and more so. And that's all I wanted to say to you.
Okay, and then they kind of have the lawyers speak and stuff like that. This is like a 40-minute long hearing is the recording that I found, but I kind of cut just her parts. And so after this, she speaks again just briefly.
And ma'am, and honestly, between you, there's nothing, I don't mind doing therapy twice a week. It's the way that they exposed me in that place and where paparazzi are loaded there. And I drive a lot, but I never get out of my car. And so all I want, it's very simple. I would just like this man to come to my house twice a week, and that's it. That's it. I'm not asking for, Badai Central from Italy to come and visit me for therapy. I just want a man to come here twice a week and do the therapy thing. That's what I want to do. So I just want you to know my request.
Yeah. And so this is her testimony. That last part, the IUD part, just fucking gutted me.
I think it was one of the most shocking parts of her statement. especially because it's literally controlling her body. Like, they would not do this to a man.
She's being
They would never do this to a man.
Forced on. Okay, so there's two like little sides to this, right? She's being forced on contraception. Contraception is being forced onto her. She does not choose contraception. They are making her have contraception. And in addition to that, they have decided, because she says that they decided she can't have any more kids. They decided she can't have any more kids.
They're taking that away from her.
Okay, so if you are a Britney Spears fan, you know this already. If you're not, she has always just wanted a family, like entertaining and stuff like that. She loves doing it, stuff like that. She's always done it. This is her job, but her dream has always been to have a family, have a house, have a husband, and live a happy life. This is what a lot of us want. Okay, this is not an unusual thing, and she's always said this. And 13 years of that has been taken away. She could have done this in these 13 years. If she had not been in a conservatorship, she could have had a baby. She could have, gotten married, and like we don't know where she would be right now. But like she would have decided it. She could have.
She would have made those. She would have been able to make those decisions.
She could have squandered all of her money, ended up broke. But she's an adult and she should be allowed to do that, right?
No, you should.
This is not. It's not for anybody else to decide. But
well, either way, her money's being squandered.
Yeah,
but it's definitely not being squandered
anyway.
by her.
It's being squandered anyway, But like, who's to say that she would have even done that? She deserved to have the chance to do that, and like, she wanted a damn baby. She wanted some more kids, and who the fuck are they to say that she can't do that?
Because she can't be able to schedule her own doctors. She doesn't have a say in the therapist or the psychologist that she's seeing. She doesn't want to be paraded in front of the media. She was the most exposed person during the 2000s. She was probably the most known person during that decade of anybody like alive.
Well, yeah, and she came at a time where there was a massive shift in gossip and blogs and tabloids and stuff like that. It went
attacking young women.
It was right between tabloids and the internet. It was right there. They were meeting right there, and she was the biggest victim of that.
Well, it's crazy because,
and I know she doesn't want to be called a victim of her success. Like she said that before.
Because what they would do is they'd make money off of pitting these women against each other. They made money off of pitting Britney v. Christina, Britney v. Pink, and then like barely any of this like came on to like I feel like the boy bands or the young boys of the time. Yes, you had NSYNC versus Backstreet Boys, but that was completely different than Christina versus Britney, where they would always bring things up out of context, pit these girls against each other.
But then also, and to defend themselves and be like, "Oh, I'm not like Britney. I'm not a manufactured like Barbie doll." As they would put her down.
They would make her like
even
that.
Even her peers would put her down in order to be like, "I'm not Britney. I'm not Britney."
It's crazy now because I think the dynamic is so different, and I think that like in retrospect, like they can look back at it like you have her, I would say, co-celebrities, co-pop stars who really say that, they were really pitted against each other, that they actually have such respect towards each other now. But, back then, I mean, it was get them before they get you,
Look at all of her contemporaries. Like, look at all of her peers and all the people she came up with. They all got to go off and have families and, balance their career and learn how to balance their career and a family and stuff like that. And she didn't get to do that. Even when she had a husband in K-Fed and had her two boys and stuff like that, it wasn't even that long before she was put under the conservatorship. And so she didn't even get to have this family life that she'd always dreamed of. It's not fair that she doesn't get that. And look how much time has passed. She's about to be 40 years old this year. And you can still have a baby at 40. You can have a baby at 50, maybe at 60. You know, all up to you and stuff like that. But
it's still time lost.
That it is time lost. And you think about the time that's probably been lost with her own kids that she does have. She has 30% custody right now with Kevin, I think. I think it's 30%. But, like, she doesn't even really have custody because a conservative cannot have custody.
And if she doesn't do what they want, then they can take it away from her.
Yeah, Kevin's just allowing her 30% time.
While she pays 100% money.
And Britney is a very private person. And she, like, even though her life has been blasted everywhere for her whole life, basically, since she was like 16, 17, she is a very private person. She says all in this that she wants privacy. She wants her therapy to be private. She wants, she doesn't want to be displayed in front of everybody else and stuff like that. But she has no choice here, that she has to air, like, all of this stuff that she's saying. She probably doesn't want any of this out there. She probably doesn't, but she has she doesn't see any alternative.
But she does say it. Because, like, one thing that she said, which I really liked, was that she doesn't want her family to hide behind false statements anymore. She wants everything to be out there in the open, and I think that's very refreshing, because this is like you said before, the only way she could have done that.
Yeah, that she doesn't have. She's kind of out of options here. She's kind of out of, there's not a whole lot that she can do. And there's people, like she says, that her family's been taking advantage of her for 13 years. And nobody did a damn thing when she was put into the mental facility. Nobody did a damn thing. Like, I understand that Jamie has control as the conservator, but, like, what the fuck?
Well,
nobody fought for this?
And I will say that, so I know her father put out a statement today, just saying that he feels for Britney and all that stuff. It was through his lawyer that was in that Framing Britney documentary. And I know her mother has her own lawyers, and she is being there in her own way. But I also know that her siblings haven't said anything.
Well, I mean, she says that her family's allowed to go and give their interviews, but she's never allowed to say anything. Mm-hmm. She's never allowed to give her side of the story. This is the only way she's ever been able to give her side of the story. But then we have Brian Spears, who not too long ago went on a podcast talking about the damn conservatorship, and he didn't even sound like he even knew much about what was going on, Like,
she's just complaining. Well, she needs people to take care of her stuff.
What he said was, like, I don't even know if she knows how to make a reservation at a restaurant. Like,
I remember that,
how can she be out of her conservatorship? Like, she's always wanted to get out of her conservatorship, but how can she? Because she needs people to go and do this and stuff. Like, what? What? That means she's got to be in a conservatorship?
Like, it's crazy that he didn't. Oh my gosh! It's like they take advantage of the situation, but still don't understand, like, what they're doing.
Most of her social interactions came when she was working, and now that she's not working, they're not allowing her to, like, see friends. And, like, she even says, like, the people from her AA meetings, like, she live 8 minutes down the road from her. How come she can't? She finds that very strange that she can't go and visit them. Like, she's just...
Well, she can't leave her front door.
She's in this big house, given, like, a little allowance of all the millions that she's made. Like, I know a lot of people are going to be, like, scoffing at them, being like, that's more than I make a week and stuff like that. She has earned all of this money. She has earned this. If she wants to go and buy a car or go and do this or go and hire a glam squad, she should be able to. But she's sitting in this big-ass house, like, by herself, alone so much of the time. And, like, she even says she's depressed. She's sad. She's angry. She's, like, crying every day.
She can't sleep.
Like, what kind of life is that? That's supposed to be the conservatives' life better? Hell,
it isn't. It's taken advantage, and it just feels like there's so much, like she said that the last time I thought that you weren't hearing me. I felt like, like I wasn't being heard when she talked to the judge, and I think that's true in some ways. I feel like I don't know why people are really holding back at this point, because the amount of times this thing has been pushed, the amount of times, like, everything's just been pushed forward just to go over more and more documents and make more and more money.
That is the benefit to being on this case, in this case, as a judge, as a lawyer, as anything. All they got to do is file a motion for like more time, and then it gets pushed to another date, and everybody gets paid for this 5 minutes they spent in court. Like, this is her money just being drained. She is side A, she's side B, she's the defense, and like she's fighting herself, and she's like not even getting a single say in any of this. And so this is the first time she's getting this kind of this moment to share her voice in court, and I'm so freaking proud of her for doing it like this. And
I do hope she sues. I'm sorry, but I do hope she seeks justice passes. Like she said, a lot of people deserve to be in jail for what they're doing to me. And I don't disagree at all.
This is an incredible injustice. It's just, I mean, I keep saying it's insane, but it is insane. It just is insane. I want her to get out of this conservatorship, and I really hope that her lending her voice here, I know she's not going to get out of her conservatorship tomorrow, and they're likely still going to try to like evaluate her and stuff like that. But I hope what it has done is kind of scared the pants off of everybody involved a little bit, and so that they are not wanting to even be on this case anymore, and so they kind of like rush the process along, and maybe like I hope that things are sped up, because it doesn't need to take until this time next year for her to.
Otherwise, it starts looking more and more sketchy.
It's just like they're collecting money is what they're doing. They're just collecting money. And so I just want things sped up for her. And so that she can, like she says, she just wants her life back. And she deserves to live her life. She deserves it. She deserves it. And if she decides to never record again or never perform again, she deserves to make that choice,
And if she decides that she wants to revive her career, however that looks, that's also her choice. Like, she doesn't need this team behind her. Mm-hmm. Like, and I don't know. I think that if Britney Spears is able to get out of the conservatorship, able to regain her freedom, I think that she definitely has fans. She has a following. Mm-hmm. She has people that are behind her when other people were not. And she deserves a little bit of privacy.
Yeah, she deserves a shit ton of privacy. But what's happening right now is that this is kind of looking like the best way forward is that so many people know about what's going on here. And then when this is all over, I hope people give her privacy. I hope she's allowed to share what she wants to share, and then when she doesn't share something, that she gets more privacy. I know that may not be how it's going to go.
You know what? But I want her to have like a huge Oprah interview. I want her to have a tell-all book, and just
my jaw dropped when she said she wanted an interview. When she was requesting an interview, and that she was like, "I really want an interview," and then she was like, "Actually, I don't want an interview anymore. I just want this call to be like a recorded call that everybody can hear." And I was like, "Brittany, I was going to that interview as Oprah."
I think that would be crazy, and also like good for some people and bad for other people. Because you know what, some people do deserve to be exposed, and I think that she would do that, because I think that she's still kind of holding back from exposing people by name, because there's people who
she took
have
a lot
abused her.
And she did take a lot of shots today. She did more than I thought she was going to do today, because I knew we've been anticipating this statement in court, but I thought it was going to be, well, I don't want my dad on the conservatorship anymore. Please remove him. This is why X, Y, and Z, why he needs to be removed from the conservatorship. And I figured there was going to be a couple bombs in there. And when I saw Sam Asghari today post a picture on his Instagram story, he had a Free Britney shirt, just cut off, but he had a Free Britney shirt.
But it's obvious what it was.
Like calling her his lioness and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, these bombs against her dad are probably going to be pretty significant. And it might even get him off the case. I don't know. Maybe it'll be something. But then I didn't expect any of this. This was just, she said, I'm going to blow the lid off of all of this. And you know what is so sad?
Said, I'm petitioning to end the conservatorship.
What is so sad is that because of everything she'd been through, and like everybody who made fun of her, all the media, all the people, everybody, all of us who made fun of her, and her breakdown and shaving the head and beating a car open with an umbrella and everything else, and like talk shit about, and talk shit about her and her breakup with Justin and everything. Like, everybody kind of created this fear of people within her. She even says she's scared of people because of everything she's been through. And she even says in this that she was nervous to come forward with all of this because, one, she didn't think she would be believed, and two, she didn't want people to make fun of her.
Britney got like bashed over like the rocks again and again and again.
More
and
than
again.
anybody.
And she was always the punchline to a joke. She was always the punchline to a joke.
There's an opening monologue of Craig Ferguson. He used to have a late night talk show, and he was basically saying, "Hey, this is dangerous. This is getting really dangerous. Like, she's a mother, and like, something's really going on. Like, who's there to help her?" And he said, like, she could die, and the audience started laughing because it's like a comedy show. But like, the audience started laughing, and he like stopped, and he's like, I'm not even joking. That's not funny. Like, she could die. And that was the attitude towards her at the time, that everything was a joke. She was the butt of every joke, even the VMA performance, which, by the way, I don't think was that bad. I think she was out of it. She looked out of it, and she, wasn't on the top of her game, but her body wasn't that bad. Like,
her body's really never been that bad.
It's never been that bad. I mean, but people were like, "Oh, she's so fat now," and like, look at her, and like, she's disgusting, and like, what happened to Britney, and.
Well, and they say that all the time, though.
Well, look at what that created, that.
And the thing, I think she was the primary victim of that time. But then you had other victims, like you mentioned, Lindsay Lohan, and Lindsay Lohan went through a huge like up and down. I think Paris was definitely about that. I think Paris definitely almost leaned into it. I think in a way that she kind of like was able to create a persona out of it.
Yeah.
So good for her for that. And then I think Kim on the periphery was kind of involved in that, and she was able to use that to launch her own career. And but these women were it isn't the same. But I'm saying that these women were just like they were raked across like the coals.
Yeah.
With all this happening to them, and it wasn't just Britney. It was so many women. But Britney was the one that was like
she was the figurehead, and she was the pinnacle, and she was like, because she was this princess of pop, like golden girl, and the best thing that anybody could do, the funnest thing anybody could do, was to drag her down as far as possible.
Britney Spears, you like Britney Spears? Oh my gosh!
I remember going to. I remember when Crossroads came out, and I was so excited to go see this movie by myself.
You told me you went barefoot.
I did go barefoot.
You walked there barefoot.
We were living in apartments in Germany, and I went across the street, and I went and knocked on all my friends' doors. And I asked everybody, "Hey, come to the Crossroads movie with me." And everybody was like, "We don't want to go see Britney Spears. We'll claw her eyes out if we see her on screen." And I never understood.
Everybody thought it was cool to like be bad,
like hating on Britney Spears, and that was totally media created. Like, but like I never understood why, and so I went to like Crossroads, and I sat in the front seat in the front of the theater, and I was barefoot, and like I still remember the tackiness of like popcorn butter on the floor and stuff. But. It was cool to hate Britney Spears,
And the thing is, one of the phenomenons that was Britney Spears is that she was really an international superstar. Like, I knew about her in Mexico. She was huge in Mexico, especially with all her Pepsi commercials. And I remember the first time I remember hearing about Britney Spears and listening to her music is that me and my family went on vacation to one of my family members' houses in Cuernavaca. And we were in a van, and my sister Tiffany was next to me, and my cousin Fernanda was on the other side, and they had their disc. Is it Discman? Disc? You know the disc thing that you used to have, or whatever.
Boombox or something.
No, it was a little disc thing, and they were listening to her first album, and I listened to it with them, and I felt so cool. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so cool because they like this, and they're older than me, and I'm so cool or whatever. And that's what I remember when I think of like Britney Spears is like, oh, she's so cool.
She was, and you know what? And you know what is so great about Britney Spears, and what drew so many people into Britney Spears is just how authentically herself she was, and she is, she is just her. She doesn't have to be anybody. She doesn't have to create a persona. She is just herself. The Britney Spears name is just Britney Spears. It's Britney Jean. It's all of this, and
It's Britney B.
you even see here in this statement, she even starts laughing, makes it, little jokes like, even though I do need therapy a little bit. That's just Britney. That's
personable.
just her heart. It's just she's a good person. She
has so many good moments, like that Ryan Seacrest moment.
where she didn't know he was gay. She's like,
that was hilarious.
it's just, she deserves happiness. She deserves the same chance that everybody else gets. She deserves to go vote. She deserves, custody of her children. She deserves to have autonomy over her own body. To
Be able to marry, be able to ride in her boyfriend's vehicle, be able to own.
She really wants
things,
to drive in her.
be able to
She
have
wants her boyfriend
control
to
of
fucking
her
drive her
own money.
somewhere. Yeah.
Be able to be a person.
Yeah.
We spout in the United States freedom all the time.
Yeah.
All the time, and it's just like this conservatorship was a trap. It was a horrendous, planned out trap.
And
I truly hope that everybody involved is exposed.
And I am so glad that she got to the point of speaking out rather than just ended up dead. That was a very real concern, that she could have ended up dead at any time during those 13 years. And it's just like, it's very sad, And I don't know.
And one thing, Zachary's always had a huge love for Britney Spears.
I think one of these first conversations we have after we moved on from the Buffy phase was I gave you the rundown on Britney Spears.
Exactly.
And
we would have
New Ruffles.
We would have long drives where we'd listen to all of her discography, and he would tell me everything that he could about her, and then. What we did was, and it kind of became a tradition, we'd have wine nights / Britney nights, where we would listen to her discography, we'd go through her dances,
music videos, documentaries,
documentaries, everything, and then we did her the most of anybody, but then we started branching out, and I think we did one for Pink, we did one for Selena. But we always went back to Britney.
Yeah.
Because I think, especially with you, Britney, just makes you feel good.
She does just make me feel good. And she's just I think Zoe Saldana put it perfectly, is that some people are just good energy, and she's an abundance of good energy,
Mm-hmm.
or that children gravitate towards good energy, and she's an abundance of that. And maybe that's why so many kids liked her when she came out, and it's just she deserves the world. I don't know. And then if she makes mistakes after she gets out of the conservatorship and stuff like that, she deserves the chance to make mistakes, to learn, to do what everybody does. Everybody makes mistakes and they learn. That's the way life is.
I will say, just for one of the last things I say is that one of the things she did say was that she was scared about coming out about her truth, because she didn't want to be made fun of. She didn't want people to say, "Oh my gosh, she's Britney Spears. She's a huge pop star. How, we feel so sorry for her." Kind of a thing.
Very sarcastic tone.
Yeah. And that's a super understandable fear, considering everything she's been through, because that's how people have treated her, ever since she became a huge pop star.
Well, I think this should go outside of just her. Is we should just treat people with kindness, and realize that everybody's could have something going on behind the scenes that you just don't know about, and maybe we should all just be a little bit kinder to each other. I think I've come to the realization, as I'm getting older, I come to this realization more and more every day, that not everything needs my opinion either. Maybe I shouldn't be speaking about this, but no. I am. As a Britney fan, I feel like I should let her voice be heard. I should help to kind of amplify her voice, but also, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. Not everything needs my opinion. If somebody's doing something I don't like or something that bothers me, I can keep scrolling. I don't have to stop and comment and spew hate. I don't have to spread hate around. I can just focus on love and positivity, as cliche as it sounds.
I think that's very legitimate, and like that made me think of like today I watched an episode of I listened to an episode of Jess Owens. She's a booktuber and she does book community, which like keeps people abreast of like what's going on in the book community, and so that everybody's kind of like aware of what's going on, and she does that for everybody. But like today she taught actually I'm not sure if that was today, but this week she talked about like Twitter, for example, and how people are very quick to just, dogpile on people, why'd you say this? Oh, this is in bad taste, instead of like sit there and like think about what the other person was saying, where they're coming from before doing this. Ask them a question instead of quote tweeting this with the way, with something like, like very
Stop trying to cancel
judgmental
everybody all the time. Stop.
Well, the thing is, like, not everybody's going to be perfect at all times, and I think that's one of the beauty. It's part of the beauty of being a human. It's like you're not going to be perfect at all times. Everybody's going to learn, and they're going to learn in different ways. And just because people, one thing that doesn't make you perfect is just dogpiling and piling on to everybody else's opinions. Oh, I heard that this one person was problematic, and guess what? If you don't do your research about that, then what makes you better than this person?
And you're not better than that person. All we can do as human beings is try to do what we feel is right. That's the most that we can do, and try to just be good to each other and open your heart, have I don't know.
Instead of gaining pleasure through people's pain, and like, yes, I get that some people are problematic and some people say things that are very tasteless. Mm-hmm. However, don't tell people to kill themselves. Don't, like
if somebody's really bothering you, stop supporting them. Just stop supporting them. Don't that's your power right there. Is you don't have to support somebody.
Exactly, and think about like because the way I'm connecting this to Britney Spears is she's somebody who people just hated to have fun and hate, and I do see that on Twitter where people just have a lot of fun just roasting people.
It's because every now and then there's somebody that's just somebody
like to see people burn.
That's fun to hate. It becomes the fun person to hate, and let's not do that. I don't think. We're definitely not perfect. We're definitely not, we can be hypocritical sometimes and stuff like that. But I do try very hard to kind of just practice kindness more than anything else. So sometimes I fail. Sometimes I'm not doing it right. I'm hoping I'm not exploiting Britney by doing this. I really am trying not to. I tried to do this in the best way that's not going to exploit her. But, maybe I failed. But I did try. And I think trying is the thing. We're rambling a lot, so my camera's
wrap up. It's getting really hot in here. We need to turn the AC on.
Thank you guys so much for listening to this long rant. If you made it to the end of this, props for you. Claps. You get points. I would like to do more of Britney's videos going into the future. Definitely go listen to Eat Pray Britney, a podcast. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. They're eatpraybritney.com. They're very, very good. Also do some more research on this, the conservatorship and all the background and context to it and stuff like that, and kind of fill yourself in if you're not already filled in. But
and realize that Britney is in a very unique conservatorship situation, but as she said, thousands of other people are in very
also abusive
conservatorships, and what she is going through could bring light to that, because that's one of the positive parts about this, and I do like to focus on that positive part.
Absolutely. So to close us out, what is your favorite Britney song?
Oh my gosh, Girl Not Yet a Woman.
Oh really? Okay. Mine kind of changes depending on my mood. So right now it's Don't Let Me Be the Last to Know. It's been like that for a couple months now.
Don't let me be the
last to know. Yes. Goodbye, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Goodbye, and we'll be doing what is it? Loki.
I don't know. You better hurry up though. We're running out of time.
We'll be doing Loki, and we're watching Fast 9 tomorrow. I guess tonight. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Bye guys.